Hello everyone, I'm back for another update here. Currently hiking through the Jefferson National Forest, awaiting this approaching winter storm to arrive. As you can see, sky is completely overcast now. It was sunny a few hours ago. Clouds have rapidly moved in. I'm going to provide an update on this winter storm that's hitting much of the U.S. eastern two-thirds currently. As you can see, there's a little bit of snow here already from Friday's disturbance that moved through. We did get a dusting. Today is Sunday, January 5th, 2024, and we do have a winter storm. The first time a winter storm warning has been issued for the local area since I've been here. But the Weather Service is only calling for 1 to 2 inches total, which I kind of do not agree with. I feel we're going to get more than that. Reason being that right now, much of the state of Kentucky is receiving snow. The reports I've looked at, only areas that are getting freezing rain right now are maybe the southern tier counties in Kentucky. And along the Kentucky-Tennessee line, they are getting freezing rain in that strip of several hundred miles. North of that, most areas are getting snow right now. Central Kentucky, such as Lexington and Frankfort and Louisville. These areas were predicted to get a lot of freezing rain. They're still holding on to snow right now. And there's temperatures that are remaining in the mid-20s in these areas. So that's a pretty good sign that perhaps this low is taking a bit further south of a track, or is going to, than what they predicted. Meaning it will put us in an area of significant snowfall here. But National Weather Service again is only predicting no more than 2 inches of snow here. We shall see. Actually, they were predicting less than a half inch today, less than a half inch tonight, less than a half inch tomorrow, less than a half tomorrow night. They're saying we're not even getting an inch of snow today or tonight. The snow has moved into far southwest Virginia. It has moved into northeast Tennessee, Johnson City area. Knoxville is on the line. Rain and snow right now just to the north of Knoxville. There's a line between frozen and liquid, it looks like. Nashville is getting light rain. Just above freezing there in temperature. Memphis is in the 40s, but they're waiting for that cold front from the storm to move through there. So it seems that most of the precipitation is either in the form of snow from the overrunning, or in the southern periphery of the area it is rain, but I do not see much reports of actual freezing rain right now. It's either you're in the above freezing zone, you're not getting much precipitation. There's a very narrow strip of freezing rain on the southern edge right now, and you get just north of that, there's a narrow strip of sleet, and then it goes right to snow. So there is so far not a huge area of freezing rain occurring with this system. It's either you're going to get snow or you're not going to get much of anything. if you're too far south. You're just going to get some very light drizzle, fog, and maybe a bit of light rain. So far there was no real heavy freezing rain occurring anywhere from all the reports I've looked at. I will keep monitoring it. That could change. It appears that the cold air at the moment is putting up a hard fight across Kentucky, and it's leading to more snowfall in that state than what's predicted, at least right now. So it appears we're going to get at least several hours of snowfall locally here. As I was concerned about an ice storm here, with the way the predictions were sounding, preparing for a potential loss of power. Although here locally, because we're higher in elevation, if we're going to get an ice storm here, it's probably going to be lower elevations, and here would just be a 33-degree rain event type deal. But down Roanoke Way, or Covington, they're in valleys that are down below us. They would have the most risk for freezing rain, more than here. Cold air sinks. So and then we have another storm threat the end of the week. This one's going to be coming up from more of the Gulf than from the plains. And there will be more than sufficient cold air remaining in place for this storm to perhaps dump some snow over more large areas of the country, including here. So what are the implications of this colder weather pattern? Well, it's telling me that their efforts to manipulate the MJO are starting to falter. They're not able to do it all the time anymore. The heat content of the oceans in these areas is not enough anymore to sustain the level of convection they want. So their efforts are faltering. They're not getting as much convection out of these areas as they were. Plus, in addition to that, natural factors working, as I said earlier, in favor of a colder winter include the wearing off of the Tonga eruption, a long-term decrease in solar activity, and this solar max, yeah, we did have several X flares in the last 48 hours. There were weak X flares. They weren't particularly strong. They were in the 1 range. But we had 3 of them. But the interesting thing is, none of them had a coronal mass ejection. None of the 3 did. So they're not going to have a huge impact. And this did come from a northern hemisphere sunspot. Perhaps that looks like it's the only one, maybe one of 2 on the northern hemisphere right now, regions. The rest of the southern hemisphere is still remains more active. So we got some natural factors helping out with creating a colder pattern. Yeah, the convection, a lot of natural convection fired up in the phase 8 zone. We got convection occurring in the Amazon, which is the phase 1. And these are colder phases for the U.S. And they're overshadowing the MJO manipulation right now enough to where we've gotten a sustained cold pattern in place, and perhaps could lead to the coldest January in a number of years for the eastern U.S. A far cry from what I was saying a couple of weeks ago, and part of that was the Long-Term Prediction Center was predicting a torch for January over most of the U.S., way above normal temperatures. They totally busted on that forecast because they're basing it on something that's false. There is no man-made global warming happening right now. And a lot of these long-range forecasts are based on man-made global warming. They're not based on reality. And based on the fact that they're going to be able to continue to manipulate the MJO with impunity to make the U.S. stay warm all winter, it's starting to falter. I have said time and again that this MJO manipulation is going to backfire. I did not know how far into the future that would happen. And I didn't think it was going to be this soon that it would start to backfire or falter. I thought maybe a few more years of warm winters before that started to happen. But nature is a lot more powerful than we're led to believe. Man is puny in comparison to nature. One comet, one dust cloud, one catastrophe on the earth could wipe out humanity in a second. That's how powerful nature is. And man cannot and will not be able to control the climate. Even if the warming was caused supposedly by mankind, they can't control the Earth's temperature. No political strategy, no policy, no carbon tax is going to change the carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere, because most of that rise in carbon dioxide is not being caused by man's activities, as many have been led to believe. It's a natural cycle. And the increase in reality is minuscule. As parts per million, you think about per million, the minute scale that they're using to measure carbon dioxide, it's a minute portion of the atmosphere. So I don't know if I'm imagining it, but I can't see Potts Mountain anymore. So I don't know if the snow has started or up there already or what, but I'm looking for Potts Mountain. I can't see it. At least in that direction. So we have 2 winter storm threats. Well, one's reality already. It's about here. The other one is for, again, later in the week. And there's indications that the cold pattern may hold till the end of the month. At least till the end of January. Which means there may be additional storm threats beyond this upcoming week. And I said it was going to be a normal winter a month back, based on, I stopped short of saying it was going to be a colder than normal winter due to the fact I wasn't sure how MJO manipulation was going to play out this year, and how the fading off of the effects of the Tonga eruption, how much of an influence that was going to have on things. In December, had its warm and had its cold spells, but it was for the most part a normal December. It was not mild. We did get several minor snow events. And so far, January, first week has been quite cold. It's going to get even colder next week. So the first 2 weeks of January are a lock for being colder than normal and snow and potentially snowy. This is in stark contrast to, again, what the Climate Prediction Center predicted as recent as the end of December, saying that January was going to be a torch for just about all the U.S. And snow has started to fall. I've seen a few flakes now. I don't think I'm going to go too far. I was originally going to go up Peters Mountain, but this weather system's moving in pretty quick, it looks like. And another form of weather manipulation is I suspect, I can't say this for sure, but when a storm does start producing snow, they try to fire energy to get the snow to become freezing rain or rain. Try to get the layer above around 5,000 feet to rise above freezing so that snow doesn't fall in areas that might get a wet snow. Instead, it causes sleet or even rain to fall in these areas that should have gotten snow. I suspect that that's going on as well. I can't say for sure though. But I notice a lot of oranges, echoes on the radar in eastern Kentucky, where they're getting snow right now. They're trying to, I suspect, force the precipitation to change over to rain in these areas that are getting snow right now. Whether it will work or not, or whether it's really happening, I'm not 100% sure, but if it doesn't work, all it will do is increase the intensity of the snow that's falling in these areas. It won't these areas will end up with more snow than they would have otherwise if it doesn't work. But if the air is simply too cold, these methods aren't going to work. It will just increase the rate of precipitation that falls. So increase the snowfall rate in these areas is all it will do. And I can see that part of Potts Mountain is beginning to fade out a bit, so there must be some snow starting to fall up at those levels above 3,000 feet right now. And again, I did see a few flakes a few moments ago. And temperature right now is about 30 degrees, but most of the areas in Kentucky, to my west, are still holding in the 20s right now. And temperatures don't seem to be rising much, at least at the moment. Again, I've seen a few more flakes here, so it does appear the snow is about to begin. And this here is the old Route 311 that used to, and a long time ago, this is the old road that used to go over Peters. So yeah, it does appear the eastern edge of the precipitation has reached. So you can see the mountains are beginning to start to fade from view a bit. And again, when I last looked, it's snowing all the way down to the Johnson City area, going south and west from here. So all of southwest Virginia is in line to get at least some snow. And I know they're saying a lot of freezing rain for areas west of me or that direction. So it is going to be snow there, at least at the start, by the way it's looking. So yeah, the mountains in that direction, because that's the direction the precipitation's moving in from. Looking more to the west, you could see those mountains there are almost gone from view, so I was hoping to be up on top of Peters to see it coming in from the West Virginia side. I can only see it from this direction. So with this storm, if it does take a more southerly track, what's going to happen is that warm air is going to be pinched up and off the surface, and they call it a cooling out in meteorology, where the storm includes out, you're going to get more snow because the warm air is carried aloft and cooled before it gets to your location enough to where it's not going to, it'll be lifted up enough into the atmosphere to where it won't melt the precipitation into rain at any level. It will be cold enough to support all snow. Of course, most of the models, most of the forecasters were basing their forecasts on the warmest, least snowy model, which had most of West Virginia getting freezing rain tonight and tomorrow. I mean, even West Virginia, almost up to the PA line. And most of Kentucky getting freezing rain as well, almost to the Ohio River. So we shall see how that actually plays out. Because right now, I last looked, it's not playing out that way. The line is more like the northern 3/4 of Kentucky. When I last looked, were getting snow, and only the southern tier of counties was reporting a little bit of freezing rain or sleet. And again, as I said in the beginning, that's an indication that the storm could be getting ready to take a more southerly track, but it's really hard to say at this point. It's still too early to say it means it's going to mean a lot more snow here or not. But it's a trend in the right direction.